Hello everyone, Krydax here, welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. I realized we forgot an output inserter on this guy, but what we're gonna have to do is like measure, I don't even know, I don't actually know how we do this. I guess we can wait and only run it when this has seeds in the output? Maybe? That seems like that would work. Because that means if this has seeds in the output, that means this is fully filled up. I don't know if that works properly though. It shouldn't matter at the end of the day. Like, it's not gonna break anything, it'll just stop working. And then we can chop these into seedlings later. It's not like we're gonna fail and have to re-roll the 0.5% again. Okay, anyway, hello everybody, how you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, I'm just getting started with my day. Oops, let me click that when I get into a chain. So, I just wanna say I'm loving pyanodons. This is just the right vibe of like something I enjoy coming back to. The Zen Garden approach is really working for me. And I'm just, yeah, I'm really enjoying the process. I'm enjoying what the base looks like. I'm enjoying the base kind of running and working. And we've actually had science for a while now, which maybe is just because it hasn't required py2 science, but that's been nice to see operating properly. And yeah, I think, I know I said we were maybe going to do Vraux. I think I want to keep working on uplifting creatures. Gosh, I still have no Fawoji. We're at 660. Whereas we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Moondrop Mark 2s already. And no Fawoji. That is nuts. That is totally crazy. Yeah, I think I want to finish this process, just because the more we do now, the less we have to do later. So I think I'm going to keep going. I've been enjoying it so far. We're going to keep going. We've already done Vraux, but I do need to set up a new version of producing more of them. This, no. This one? Yeah, this one. And then the Cocoon Mark IIs. So we need to set up that loop. And I'll probably set up that loop wherever we do Vraux, just because they use the same ingredients. That just makes sense. And that leaves us with not too many animals to work on. I think the only animal we have unlocked other than Vraux Mark II is Fish Mark II. So I guess we're actually almost done with up marking for now, until we research more. There's a lot of researches though that are available, I think. Actually no, there's not. I thought there were some other Mark II animals that were available. I think they're available soon. Yeah, like AUG Stage 2 isn't that far away. Energy drinks. Concentrated seed syrup, seed extract, tree, Renea, and Grod, and Guarbine? Oh boy. So AUG Mark II is pretty far away because we need Renea, Grod, and Guar before we can do that. And it looks like a lot of things are locked behind that. Fadai's, Ulrich Stage 2, Tufra Stage 3, Arcad Stage 3, AUG Stage 2. And this has bedding as one of the things, Yotoy and Grod. And that unlocks a lot of things too. The bedding does. I'm guessing like Cotton Gut Stage 2 needs bedding. Yeah. So, and quality cotton gut food. So there's all sorts of stuff that we're gonna slowly get towards. Red belts, weirdly enough, are in py2 science. I thought they were in Chem Sci. But they are gonna require advanced small parts, which require nylon and stainless steel. Stainless steel requires aramid, ferrochrome, phosphate, other stuff we already have. The aramid's a pain in the butt because it needs all that. Plus it needs TCl, and the TCl is cobalt extract, yotoi, aromatics, liquid nitrogen, and manure bacteria. I mean, all sorts of expensive stuff. So, yeah, and the nitrobenzene there. Man, we need... I'm remembering a lot of that stuff. That was there before alternative energy existed. So anyway, let's go work on fish Mark II. What are the ingredients for this? So, to roll the dice, we need filtration media, fish food, fish, seaweed, and phytoplankton. And then once we've succeeded on the dice rolls 4 times, we can produce 10 guaranteed eggs, which then is enough to produce 6 guaranteed fish. So the loop is sustainable once we've gotten 4 fish. Okay. And we need... oh, we need fish oil for that, funnily enough. Fish oil, seaweed, fish eggs, lamp, and just phytoplankton and saline. Okay. So that will require us to import probably fish oil. I don't think we have that over there. And maybe lamps? I don't... are we currently using lamps at the fish zone? I don't remember. Let's go down there and find out. Got my coffee today. It's a good day. And then, yeah, over here... did I forget something? I feel like we're missing something. Have I really done all of this? We did trees, we did sap, we did seaweed. I'm working towards moss, but we're still quite a few researches away from moss. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 researches away from Moss Mark II. Very excited about that, though. I did Fuoji. I did Kickout. Yeah, I mean... oh, I didn't do Tufra. Oh, we need phosphoric. That's why. That's why we didn't do that yet. Phosphoric acid. I guess we've already unlocked phosphorus processing, so that could be a thing to put on my to-do list. That on there. Okay, so what are we importing here? We do have filtration media and lamps and phytoplankton. So I'm guessing we're gonna need one of these. I don't know where to put these. Maybe back here. And that's that one. That's that one. So we'll need 2 in a loop. But for now, we need this one running. And we should be able to... this is a little tricky. Should be able to do this. And then filtration media, seaweed, and phytoplankton. Okay, so for now we do that. Phytoplankton comes from over here. This can be a T-junction. Okay. And then we need seaweed, which I don't think I'm requesting. Correct. But it just so happens. Sometimes you get lucky in life. Look at this. Look at this. We've got seaweed right here, and I have no qualms about crossing train tracks here to bring this seaweed over. That is too funny. I'll use underground belts to minimize the visual impact of this, but that is so lucky. I cannot believe that. That's so crazy. Okay, and then the bots will get here soon to build that. So then that will roll the dice, and then we're gonna have this one, which needs phytoplankton and saline water. And the phytoplankton hooked up over here. Okay. And then it'll get fish mark 2, which then makes fish egg mark 2. So for now, I will, and this outputs regular fish, so we have to do that thing where we output and then output. Let's see. We need to be on the right side. So we do this. Input priority left. Filter fish. And then this is speaker. Measure. Fish mark 2. Show alert. Okay. And then what rates are we looking at here? Pretty slow on everything except fish are actually not that slow. Okay, and what are we looking at for success here? 0.6 an hour? So this is going to be like a 5-hour, 6-7-hour ordeal. I guess that's okay. And again, that's expected value. Could be twice as long as that. But we already know this is gonna fail. Why is it gonna fail? Because the fish food is unfortunately created... Well, is that true? Hold on. So we produce 1 fish food and we produce 18 fish. But we need 10 eggs, because this needs 2 fish food and 20 fish. So we don't have enough fish food, according to that. But the eggs might fix that. So 18 fish from 10 eggs. But 10 eggs requires how many fish? So let's divide by 5. That gets us 2.4. So 4.8 fish worth of eggs. So we're really not making 18 fish, we're really making 13.2 fish. And 2 fish, and 1 fish food. So unfortunately, we're still gonna be short on fish food, ratio-wise. And what that means is we need a way to burn some fish if we have no fish food on this line. So, what's the best way to do that? I could just biomass some fish. That feels wasteful. It would be better to render the fish. But I don't really have an easy way to tell my renderer to turn on to fish. I guess I could add a symbol here. I don't think I'm ever going to use these on my radar for anything. So yeah, we'll render fish with the vertical signal. That needs to go into my radar list. Vertical signal used to signal render fish. And that needs to be... Let's see here. And here. We'll give it some runway. So we back up on fish food here. So then we need to measure, and I'll do red signal. Read, hold. No, I guess I need the combinator here. Okay, and that outputs the vertical signal if fish food is less than 4. Okay, which it is. And then if we go... Well, back button fails me again. The way that I use map view is just somehow not conducive to using the back button most of the time. I can't seem to figure that out. Alright, and then we hook that one up with a red, and that should be all we need to do. So now we'll get the vertical signal to say render fish. And, by the way, I kind of just now am kind of thinking about this applies to all my animals. I can render all animals, if I want to, using these extra signals. I am a little worried about how short I am on brains. Like, I've been rendering AUGs for brains for 10 hours. Oh, well, no, not 10 hours straight, but 2 hours straight. That seems like a bad thing, right? What's consuming all the brains? Is it science? By the way, we're getting closer and closer to meat to cyanic. It's gonna be so nice. Free cyanic acid will feel so good. It's because that saves me ammonia, right? So 10 meat to 50 cyanic is the same as 10 meat to 50 ammonia in terms of what it saves me. That's not a crazy amount, you know, that's 5 ammonia per meat, but that's still something, considering how expensive urea is. Anyway, yeah, what am I using brains on? Is it mostly animal samples? Let's see, what's our brain consumption? So our brain consumption has been 18 a minute, pretty consistently. Very consistently, in fact. I think that's all coming from this, right? Is that 18 a minute? Yeah, that's 18 a minute. And so that's what we need for science. And our slaughterhouses, when they're all on AUGs, should be making 0.333. Oh, wow, we just need more slaughterhouses. Slaughterhouses are so slow. I think I really underestimated how slow slaughterhouses are. So yeah, we're gonna install a second set of slaughterhouses here. Wait, let me rotate that, or let me flip it vertically, I mean. Just to be consistent. And those are all hooked up to green, so they'll be hooked up with the same signals. And then I want to do the exact same thing I'm doing here. Flipped vertically. Like that. And then we need to hook those up to the same red signal. like so. And then as far as outputs, we're gonna do the same thing. And I'm gonna flip that vertically. Shoot, which one of these is gonna match? I actually am gonna need to test that. Like if I have, arcads are the ones with 2 different fluids. So if I copy that and flip it vertically, it does match across. So that means this one's gonna match that one. So that means this matches, why did I do it this way? I guess I'll go across here. So that one is the close one, like that, and this one is the far one, like that. Perfect. Okay, so that does that. This is all within construction range. I'm not making Slaughterhouses, apparently, in the auto mall. Let's get that fixed. That's animal and plant related. Slaughterhouse is 5. Yeah, we'll do 10. We're gonna need to add them from time to time. Okay, so improved animal slaughtering is about to be a go. And then we unload onto this belt, which will load pretty much the same way. It'll just come up here. Like that. Okay. I don't think there's anything intrinsically wrong with this yet. It's possible it fails in some spectacular way, but I think we're fine. I'm also gonna try to get some extra RoboPort coverage for later. Will that be able to be built? Yes, I think so, because there's 2 tiles. Okay. So I think that'll work. That'll get us some more brains. And once we start doing Vraux, that'll get us some brains for Formic. And then I really like this idea of using radar to potentially trigger rendering of stuff. Like, I think there's a minimum amount of Vraux that I'm gonna want to render, but then if I have enough Formic, I'll stop. But like, I might still want to render a few past that. I'm not sure. Because algs are cheap, right? Like, flora and moss. And more moss, right, for the pups? Yeah, more moss and more flora. That's the only cost for an alg, is moss, realistically. Flora is free, it's just annoying. Someday we do get, by the way, I need to look into this. There's a way to make flora in these, what is that? A turd recipe? Biocarnation? What is that? Decay result from advanced substrate. Whoa. Weird. But then there's also the smart farms. But those you don't get till Kimsai as well. Automated smart farm. And smart farms can craft all sorts of different things. That'll be interesting once we get there. But that's Chem Science, long way away. By the way, there was an update and you can alt click or control click or shift click. Apparently it doesn't work. What? I was told, I was lied to. There was patch notes for Pi, Alien Life, I think. I'm supposed to be able to alt-click the codex. Oh, it's alt-right-click. There it is. To go directly to the turd is what I was trying to do. So, now we have Moondrop still unselected, but Seaweed. Have I looked at these yet? Truth pathfinding. What is this? Increasing production speed and energy consumption. So this requires decider combinators to craft. And then arithmetic combinators. And then decider combinators, and then arithmetic. That's so annoying that they even alternate between decider and arithmetic. Like, that just feels one of those unnecessary... Like, that feels more like Greg Tech New Horizons than pyanodon's to me. I'd prefer... Like, design-wise, it's already punishing to add combinators into it. Why switch which combinator? Does that actually make it more interesting? I mean, it's kind of a ha-ha moment when you look, oh, it's different, but then it's like, okay, and what was the point of that? Not that it really matters, since it requires all sorts of different ingredients anyway, and you're probably using bots to deliver it. So, like, the actual impact on players is really small one way or the other, but it still feels pointless. Anyway, that is a pretty huge speed boost. The real speed is a plus 150%. So that means we will get, you know... Instead of 2, we'd get 5 seaweed. Instead of 20 seaweed a second, we'd get 50 seaweed a second. So that plus tier 3 seaweed makes me feel like free seaweed is really, really free. I wonder if that would even turn it into a good way to make compost, like or biomass. Now this one allows you to create slaked lime directly from oxygen. I'm counting the seaweed as basically free on that. And even chlorine comes out of that. It allows you to turn fine carbon dust and slaked lime, which is just coke, by the way, and it's half of a coke each. So that's 1 coke, 200 slaked lime, which we get the oxygen back. So that is a way to turn... Hold on. That turns seaweed into calcium carbide. Holy crap. So that's just free acetylene? Like legitimately... Like acetylene from seaweed is what that is. That's really strong. And then what's this one? Oh, it just doesn't require water. Sometimes, I guess not requiring saline water is a pretty big benefit. Okay, never mind. This first one is pointless because it's like water's free anyway. But removing the saline water requirement is a legitimate cost that they're taking out. So that's worth something. I wouldn't say it's worth anywhere near as much as these two, though. These two are clear winners. Wow. That's really interesting, because this one is seriously strong, but free acetylene. And there's also free chlorine that we're getting out of it as a byproduct. We even get more slaked lime than we put in. So, like, it either nets us some slaked lime or oxygen when we turn the carbide into acetylene. And, yeah, I mean, the coke is a pretty tiny cost in all of this, you know, because 16 calcium carbide is enough to make 160 acetylene from 1 coke. So, you know, we could get 2400 acetylene per second from 1 belt of coke, and we have like over 100 coke a second available in our base. And then the slaked lime, we can, where is the recipe? Yeah, later we can use that as a way to make lots of sodium hydroxide. In fact, I can research that now. So interesting. I feel like I'm gonna have regrets whichever one I choose. Because this one is just generically strong to make tons of seaweed. Wow. I mean, how much seaweed would we make from this plant? We're already making 36. So if we did a plus 150%, that would be 90 freaking seaweed per second from just this. This isn't even, I mean, it's pretty big. It's pretty big. But 90 seaweed a second is an intense amount of seaweed. And what do we get per compost wise? That would be 2 each composting. Let's see, where's that compost recipe? That one. Yeah, and it's a really fast recipe too, because it's 10 seaweed at a time. So we can compost it with just a few composters, because each composter is going to consume 3 seaweed a second. So I guess that's still a lot of composters needed in total. Wow, this is really interesting. And that makes biocrud kind of by extension slightly easier. Let's see. Is there anything else that seaweed makes? I mean, it's an ingredient in a lot of things, but this looks like the other main thing is the silver enriched biomass. Which then, oh, we don't unlock that till production science. But then you can use that to make silver, I assume. Yeah. Wow, wow, wow. What crazy times. So I guess the question is, what is free, what does it really do for me to have free slaked lime and free acetylene and free calcium carbide? Let's kind of work our way through that. So acetylene is used in ground boring, titanium and lead. Well, that just makes sense because that's the mining fluid for that. It is an ingredient in various things later in the game. Chem science. A lot of chem science things. Acetylene becomes an ingredient. And there is the gas bladder way to make acetylene. I doubt that'll be more effective than just the classic calcium carbide way. I'm guessing... Oh, this is so tricky. It's also a strong fluid fuel, but I'm not worried about fluid fuels. And the slaked lime... By the way, I don't think this recipe's real. The 50 slaked lime. Let me double check that. But I don't think that is. Oh, it is. It's just here. We can turn lime into slaked lime. Okay. Interesting. Anyway, this is so interesting. Huh. It is, the main thing we want it for is to be able to turn salt into sodium hydroxide at a 1-to-1 ratio. Because sodium hydroxide doesn't have an easy way to get produced. The only way to produce it is the saline water electrolysis, which is expensive in terms of power, and we only get 2 from 10 salt. Whereas this gets us 10 salt to 10 sodium hydroxide, and then that limestone that we get as a byproduct can then be, you know, reutilized along with coke to make the lime, to make the slaked lime again, so that kind of loops back. Oh, wait, does that fully loop back? 10 limestone makes 10 lime, and 10 lime would make 100 slaked lime. Oh. So this only costs coke then. That's weird. I didn't realize that. That makes the slaked lime input less important, because this limestone can be combined with coke. So that means we're spending 7.5 coke to replace 8 salt and an electrolysis process. Is kind of what's happening there. If we loop the limestone back. The other option is just utilize byproduct slaked lime to do this, and it just gets us some cheaper, but you know, right now we're not even using acetylene other than for mining lead and titanium, so I don't really know. I don't think that's worth it. The only reason I can imagine this seaweed upgrade is worth it is if you end up using pretty huge amounts of, I guess this is a way to get oxygen too. It's not very fast. But if you use pretty huge amounts of acetylene later, this could be worth it. I'm also trying to gauge the chlorine. Is that like a better way to get chlorine? 20 every 4 seconds. These are so hard to gauge. 20 every 4 seconds is only 5 a second. These consume 10 megawatts, but a basic oxygen furnace consumes a lot too. They consume 5 megawatts of solid fuel. So it's not that much better that this would... Yeah, that's really not that much better. In fact, it's the same, because 5 megawatts for 5 a second versus 10 megawatts for 10 a second. It just doesn't need saline water as an input. This is so weird. I think at the end of the day, this one's probably going to be stronger just for absurd amounts of seaweed. I mean, it'll turn one building, and this is a Mark 1 building, by the way, into 1.5 seaweed a second by itself with only water input. So that's the kind of thing where I could start making seaweed on site in most cases. I might not even need to ship seaweed around on trains. So that's probably the one I'll go with. Sorry for the long diversion. We're almost out of time for this episode. I want to do another one today so you guys can have a weekend episode, but that means this episode will be a little shorter. I still have no Fuwoji. Are you kidding me? We're at 750 with no successes. What is the I'm looking that one up. That's gotta be a low chance, right? 750? Okay, here we go. Stat track. So, probability of success, 0.005. Number of trials, 750. Number of successes, 0. Yeah, that's only a 2% chance. We're already in the bottom 2 percentile for first Fuwoji. That is nuts. We're in the 2nd percentile. Wow, that's bad. That's really bad. Haven't even gotten one yet. Sap tree Mark 3s are building up. By the way, how fast is a single sap producer? 0.1. That's really nice. Can't wait till we get Mark 2 buildings too. Okay, so anyway, I apologize. Well, no, I don't apologize. You guys are also interested in figuring all that crap out. So that's all part of the plan. Let me make sure this is working. We gave our bots plenty of time to build everything. Okay, we're missing a power pole there. And then I need to attach that. But yeah, are we outputting fish render? I am. Oh, it also has the red flora signal. That's funny. Thankfully, it doesn't matter that it has the red flora signal. But yeah, we just haven't been able to catch up on brains or bones. Bones are even more in desire, which, yeah, I really wish this was set up to be able to do random rather than all of them doing the same animal. You know what? I could have this bank do a different animal. How would I do that? Hold on. Idea has been had. Krydax, you're a genius. So I think I'm gonna use a decider, or not a decider, what are they called? Selector combinator to pick the last signal in the list. Because the buildings are gonna do the first signal in the list by default. And this way, we at least will be rendering 2 types of animals at the same time if we have multiple signals going on. As far as which ones they'll do, it'll just depend on the sorting, and there's nothing I can do about that. But it will at least mix it up a little bit. Because yeah, here we can see it's actually desiring to render 4 different animal types are currently desired to be rendered. And we're only rendering augs because they appear first in the list. So I think what we'll do is we'll select sort ascending, and that way it will pick the last one in the list. Now the problem is that could end up selecting a non-recipe signal, but it looks like all of the animal outputs happen to be signals that are before the rendered stuff, before the rendering recipes. Do I have a way to sort those out? Disentangle them? Ooh, Relasia Mk2, nice. Do I have a way to disentangle? I don't think I do. They're all just on the green. So I think I just have to hope that that works out and do that. All right. Any other problems that we can see? Nope, they're all running. Sweet. Okay. Well, Slaughterhouse capacity's been doubled. That should fix some problems. Why are cotton guts enabled? Yeah, because of bones. Yeah, we need everything because of bones right now. So bones should catch up now that we have 20 slaughterhouses running. And cotton guts are actually faster at bones production per second, even though they're overall less bones per cotton gut. And, oh, another thing we need to do is replace all these with fast inserters. No. What we need to do is replace these with stack inserters. Let me just switch these over. Brain, guts. What's happening? Oh, they don't have a full stack yet. I guess the only problem is this doesn't put it on both sides. What's happening here? Oh, it's not supposed to load when we have extras. You know, I'm gonna ignore that part. That is gonna create problems, though. What are we doing? Each less than 20? So we're getting all kinds of extra meat is what's happening here. It's overflow meat. I should maybe SR latch this. I need more here. To make sure we actually can handle the rates here. Okay. That should keep it cleared out, I think. Notice I don't have a lard overflow set up, which could be problematic. Alright. Anyway, we now need 3 more stack inserters. And you're going to be filtered on skin. You're going to be filtered on bones. You're going to be filtered on chitin. And remember, each of these is capable of about 12 items per second maximum output. And I'll put these two on the close. Okay, I need to call this an episode here. As usual, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one.